Seen some of the statements out there by Elon Musk, the person that ostensibly is in charge of DOGE, and actually the current acting commissioner of the Social Security Administration is a DOGE person. He was actually allegedly under investigation at Social Security Administration, and now he's the acting commissioner. It's a strange time out there. So we're going to talk about some of the statements of that Elon Musk made, and people make statements all the time. Take it with a grain of salt. But if that person is also in charge of the agency they're making statements about, then we should listen to it and check to see if those statements are actually becoming realized, which I'm going to talk about today. 100% they are becoming realized. So we're going to talk about the statements, and then at the end, I'm going to open it up for a live Q&A, because with all the chaos and uncertainty out there with all things Social Security, Medicare, and all the rest of it, a lot of people are paranoid, rightly so, about their Social Security checks. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country. And now in my semi-retirement, I do these videos here. I do a live and answer any of your questions, help you navigate the bureaucracy, or I guess lack of bureaucracy right now, because there's nobody at Social Security picking up the phones. I've continuously getting emails and Facebook contacts from the old Social Security employees I used to work with and other people throughout the country, and said, "Ed, I'm out of here. This is a drowning ship. I don't want any part of this anymore." And so they're talking about maybe 7,000 people being laid off or fired or early retirement or whatever the case may be from the Social Security Administration. I think it's going to be a lot more. And Social Security was already at a 50-year low. We know, over the last few years, they've tried to gut the agency, and now it's on steroids. So there's unfortunately no place out there to get your questions answered. A lot of social media talking about doom and gloom, which there is doom and gloom, unfortunately, but no place to get answers. And so that's why I do a live Q&A. Make sure you subscribe, and that way, if you or your friends have any questions, you know where to find us. Okay, so I'm sure you've all seen, I'm not going to show the clip because you've seen it, that, he's called Social Security the biggest fraud in history. So this is, he looked at the Social Security records, and he, supposedly found a whole bunch of people over 120 or 200 years old that were receiving Social Security benefits. The Social Security commissioner, the acting commissioner, kind of said, no, that's not true. The president kind of said, okay, that's not true. Elon Musk is the kind of the last person out there holding on that it was true, but it's not true. I've talked about that several times. And he had just famously said Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. You have to think about this. Let's say you're a father and your daughter brings home a new boyfriend, and the father says, your new boyfriend is a scammer, a crook, a fraud. Do you think the father is going to have it out for that new boyfriend? Of course. So this is Elon saying, okay, Social Security is a fraud, a scammer, illegal. It's a Ponzi scheme, all the rest of it, because a Ponzi scheme is illegal. So that's what he thinks about Social Security Administration. Again, okay, you have your opinion, but now his opinion is essentially the force of law, in the sense of he's now able to block our benefits from that and have an influence on Social Security. DOGE is cutting back again, 7,000. I think it's going to be a lot more. And the money is still there. The programs are still there. Retirement benefits, survivor benefits, disability benefits, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. All those benefits are still there, but good luck getting access to them. It's kind of like the old the Eagles Hotel California. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. So they are there for now, but it's going to be very, very difficult getting access to them. And as you can, if the regular viewers of my channel know that, there's a lot of people out there that are not receiving the benefits they're entitled to. Actually, someone put a remark in here for the live Q&A that we're going to be starting here in about another 5 or 10 minutes, that said they got spouse benefits because of this channel. And they said, because of me. And it's not because of me. It's because all the people that pressed subscribe and liked and shared, that the information got to that particular person. And now that person's life is a little bit easier because they were able to get spouse benefits that they did not know they were entitled to. Okay. So the whole thing about Social Security being a Ponzi scheme, Elon, I'm not sure whether he uses a South African dictionary of what a Ponzi scheme is, but in America, a Ponzi scheme is by its definition unsustainable. Is Social Security unsustainable? No. Okay, please listen. There's a lot of people that listen to what I say, and then they cut me off halfway, and then they say, "Hey, Ed, last week you said this, so please listen to next 1 minute, please." Um, Social Security will be here for another 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. No problem. It is 100% sustainable. Why? Because, as we know, it's mandatory. You have to pay payroll taxes, Social Security FICA taxes, the 6.2% and the 1.45% of Medicare, but that's mandatory. So as long as there are people paying into Social Security, and there will always be people paying into Social Security unless AI replaces all of us, that they will always be working and paying into Social Security. So there'll always be money coming in. So Social Security is 100% sustainable for centuries, unless we do something stupid like give it over to Wall Street or something like that. But it will be here forever. The problem is what I talk about all the time is that Social Security will still be here, but your checks are going to be cut. That's the issue. You're always going to get checks. As long as there's people working and paying into Social Security, it's a pay-as-you-go system. It's been like that since 1935. The money that comes in essentially that year goes out to the people. The reason there's a $2.6 trillion trust fund is in the 1980s, they realized, the baby boomers have come up. Maybe we should put some savings, AKA a trust fund. And now that trust fund is slowly being depleted. And that's the issue. Right now, we have X amount coming in. We have X amount going out. A higher amount going out, and what's filled in the gap? The trust fund. And the trust fund is running out. That is a 100% fact. The trust fund is running out, and the estimates are about 2033 or 2034, about 21, 22%. So Social Security, if some of the other stuff that the current president is talking about, no taxes on Social Security, no taxes on Social Security benefits, that is, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, then that's going to put a bigger stress on the trust fund, and it's going to, there's going to be more cuts sooner. Okay. But in either solution, in either scenario, 70% of benefits will be paid for decades, 75 years or so. That's, Elon Musk doesn't care. He doesn't care about Social Security. But the people that are living on Social Security, there's millions of people that live on Social Security alone. It's still going to be there. Don't worry about it. Social Security is still going to be there. The problem is there are going to be cuts unless something is done. And unfortunately, both parties, Republican, Democrats, independents, middle of the road, whatever the case may be, have failed to do their job and solve the problem. And so we're kind of kicking the can down the road. And Elon Musk says, well, he brings out the old, people are living longer, and so their retirement age, and so that's his solution. It sounds like to raise the retirement age, which has already been done. If you were born in 1960 and after, your full retirement age is 67 now. So that was done in the 1980s, and it's come to full realization this year in 2025. But there's a better solution that he doesn't want to talk about because it's called smashing the cap. It's basically, a lot of people don't know this. He knows this, but he doesn't want to pay like the rest of us. We pay Social Security FICA for the FICA part of the Social Security part of FICA. We pay every dollar we make, we pay Social Security tax. Okay, the 6.2%, and their employers pay 6.2%. Every dollar we make, 99% of the people watching out there. If you make over $176,000, $176,100 this year, you no longer pay Social Security tax on that amount over that amount. You pay under, the amount, and then once you make $176,101, you stop paying Social Security FICA tax. You pay the Medicare, but you don't pay the FICA tax, the Social Security part of the tax. And that's the issue. That's the problem. It's not the retirement age. They shouldn't increase, the Social Security, payroll taxes for us, from 6.2 to 7.2 or 8.2. It's that they should pay like the rest of us. We've been paying Social Security, FICA tax on every dollar we made for the past 40, 50 years. Why shouldn't everybody pay the same amount into the system? But that's a solution, obviously, the people that make over $176,100 don't want to do. So Social Security is 100% sustainable, and therefore it is not a Ponzi scheme. Look it up in the dictionary. It says it's a fraudulent system, and they hide it. They hide where the income is coming from, and that's not true either, because you can just go in there and let me see where I have. That's to call your senator. Trying to look for my little graphic here, but you can go into the system. Oh, can't seem to find my graphic here, but you can go into the Social Security Trustees report, and it shows exactly in 2023 what $1.1 trillion came in, and part of that, most of that was FICA tax, and the other part was taxes on Social Security. There we go. FICA, and then 49.8 billion from those taxes on Social Security benefits, 63 billion in interest. Yes, we make interest on what we've loaned the government. So the Social Security does not add one dime to the deficit or the debt. Social Security is essentially self-funded. But the problem is we paid out 1.2 trillion. 1.1 came in, 1.2 trillion came out. Where did that difference come from? About 70 billion of it came from the trust fund, right? So now we've got 2.6 trillion. That is as of 2023. So it's probably what, 2.5 trillion this for 2024, and this year we'll pull another $100 billion out of the trust fund. So it is not a Ponzi scheme, because you can tell where the money's coming from. It comes from your FICA taxes. It comes from your children's FICA taxes. It comes from your neighbor's FICA taxes. So it is not a Ponzi scheme, and it is sustainable. Social Security will be around here for a long, long time. So he really needs to investigate the definition of a Ponzi scheme, because it is not a Ponzi scheme. Will your benefits be cut in the future? Yes, unless we do something. So let's do something. Reach out to your politicians, and let's make sure they do the right thing. Maybe send them an email or contact them and says, hey, we'll take Elon's suggestion on this. Contact your politicians and say, I would like you to tell me 5 things you did last week to make my life easier, to make the life easier of my wife and my husband and children and family and relatives. And one of those I want to make sure is one of those things, making sure we don't get cuts in the future. So I would like that on a weekly basis. Politicians, tell me what you did last week to make my life easier. So, all right, let's get into your questions here, because unfortunately Social Security ain't picking up the phone, and it doesn't look like they're going to pick up the phone anytime in the near future in a lot of cases. It's crazy. All right. I cannot find my marriage license for spousal benefits. I sent for a new one, but it will take more than 30 days. Is there any other way to receive deceased husband's Social Security difference in benefit? No, you have to, if you're talking about a deceased husband based on a marriage, then you have to have the marriage certificate and the divorce decree to prove the 10 years of marriage. If you were married to the person when they passed away, then you just obviously need the marriage certificate, and you probably received that lump sum death payment of the $255 at one time. But it sounds like you definitely need to get your marriage certificate. But the very important thing is never wait for documentation. I see people lose benefits like this every single day. It's tragic that they say, okay, I want to go ahead and file for divorce spouse benefits. I want to file for, independently entitled. I want to file for disability. I want to file for this, that, and the other. But I won't call Social Security until I get my documents. No. Call Social Security immediately, because that protects you for that particular month. It's called protective filing. So if you call them this month, for instance, and you say, hey, I want to set up an appointment for, spouse benefits or, surviving spouse benefits, and they'll set up right now, they're probably, set you up an appointment sometime in 2029 or something. But anyway, so they'll set you up an appointment. And at that time, they'll tell you whether, exactly what you need. But in the meantime, in your particular case, I would go ahead and try to find your marriage certificate, but do not delay. When your appointment time comes up, you keep your appointment, you file the claim, and you tell the person, yeah, I requested the marriage certificate, and I'm still waiting on it. and they'll tell you, well, actually, you don't need it because your deceased spouse filed for benefits, and when they file for benefits in MCS, the modernized claim system, they put your marriage in there, so we can take that as proof. So you don't even need the marriage certificate. So there's exceptions, the exceptions, and so. But super long story short, don't waste your time. Get your protective filing so you don't lose a month. Let's see. If I'm getting retirement and got okay, I got cut off there. SSA commissioner finds $800 million in savings. Yeah, that's easy to do. Yeah, they just fired a bunch of staff, got rid of a bunch of staff, canceled a bunch of computer programs that are meant to update the system and keep our information safe. There was a couple of things in there, but the majority of them were just, we're going to cut back customer service to you, and that's how we're going to save $800 million. Is we're just going to, all the people that are supposed to be there to help you, we're going to get rid of them. Yeah, okay. If you think that's savings, it is savings, but it's gonna cost you. It's definitely going to cost you. So a couple of those things were, some of the old leases, but a lot of those, the GSA and the Social Security Administration update and cancel and terminate leases all the time. We did it on our office. I ran the third busiest Social Security third busiest Social Security office in the country. And then was it about 8 or 9 years ago, we had one of those Social Security card centers, which was a complete waste of money. And we finally closed ours down. And so it saved a lot of money. And so that happens all the time. So with all the stolen data from the various sources, do you recommend I lock my Social Security account? Yeah, a lot of the Social Security, as of right now, knock on wood, has not had a data breach like that. Well, I guess we'll see what happens with the kids that are in there right now, whether they leave their computer, laptop at Starbucks or something like that. But anyway, prior to this time, Social Security has not lost records like that. There's been a lot of credit card companies and hospitals and all these other companies that have lost information, but it's not Social Security. If somebody steals your Social Security number and stuff like that, we used to get people coming to the office all the time. Somebody stole my wallet and stole my Social Security number. What do I do? It says, well, it's 99% of the times it's not about Social Security. Unfortunately, companies for decades and decades and decades use your Social Security number as your national identifier for everything. Credit, you go buy a boat or open a credit card, they always use your Social Security number, which they should have never used it. That should just be for Social Security, but everybody decided to use it. So when somebody steals your ID or something like that, they, usually go buy a boat or, get a car or, open up a credit card and stuff like that. So you need to reach out to your credit reporting agencies. The only thing that Social Security is involved in with something like that is if someone is using your Social Security number to work and pay earnings into your work history. So you should monitor that. And people say, no, I want people to pay into my work history. I don't get, I get 100 people that are not in this country legally, have them work in my work history. And that way my benefit amount when I retire will be, the max benefit amount because I'll have those earnings. No, don't do that, please. Because eventually those people will get caught. And if you are collecting benefits based on someone else's earnings because they work illegally and you didn't notify Social Security that, hey, those aren't my earnings, then when they find those people, they'll take those earnings off your record, and then you will have a terrible overpayment. So that is another reason to always make sure you go onto the Social Security website, My Social Security, and then check your earnings record. That's how they determine how much your benefit is going to be for the rest of your life, is based on what you paid into Social Security. So make sure that it's your benefits. All right. I like negative questions here. So let's see here. Lies. The checks are not being cut. Not now. Correct. Why people choose to believe your crap is beyond me. By the way, the reason that Social Security is low on funds, you can thank the Biden administration. They stole. Okay. Yeah. Wow. It's okay. Nobody said they're being cut right now. Well, if you're getting a Social Security check, your benefit is not cut right now. That's not going to happen until 2031, 2033, 2034. There are cuts happening right now for people that are losing money because they are not able to access their checks. So if you are not able to get your disability benefits or retirement benefits or survivor benefits when you're supposed to, you're losing those months of checks. So 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So that, I mean, for those people, I think they would consider that a cut. And they're not low on funds. There's 2.6 trillion in the Social Security Trust Fund. It was put there for the baby boomers, 70 million people born between 1946 and 1964. They put that money in the Social Security Trust Fund for their future retirement, and they're using it. It's their money. They're using it. It's going down. But the problem is the FICA cap. It's wages for the regular, average Americans since the 1980s have been pretty much stagnant. So less and less is under FICA that pays into Social Security. Most of the money is going to the top outside of what FICA pays. So, and yeah, the whole idea about the money being stolen, the money is there. It's being returned every single month. And that's one of the reasons in my little description there. I put the little donation thing. So that gentleman, later gentleman, believes that the Social Security Trust Fund has been stolen and it's not really there, and that's fake money. So basically, if you're receiving a Social Security check and you believe that, then you should donate about probably 7 to 8% of your Social Security check. You should donate it to charity because that's not real money. That money was stolen, because that money comes out of the Social Security Trust Fund. So 92% of your check comes from current people paying into Social Security. The other 8% or so comes from the trust fund. So if you think that 8% has been stolen or it's fake money or whatever the case may be, then please, animal shelters, they really need money out there. So please donate 8% of your Social Security check to an animal shelter. So let's see, what other kind of questions we have here? I'm just pressing at random. Sometimes it's I regret pressing a button, but anyway, I never regret it. My now deceased spouse, self-employed, paid dearly in Social Security. I became disabled and Social Security reduced my benefits that were owed to me. Social Security does steal taxpayer money. This is fraud. Elon is correct. Okay. Deceased spouse, self-employed, paid dearly. Okay. I became disabled and Social Security reduced my benefits there. I'm not sure. Yeah. If you tell me how they reduced your benefits. Were you part of the WEP, windfall elimination provision, the Social Security Fairness Act that just got overturned? Perhaps something like that. So I'd like to find out how they reduced your benefits. Mark, what's up? My husband just got his Social Security started. He called the local phone number and got in. Wow, great. We just don't qualify for the spousal part you have taken about, but she did check on it without having to ask. Okay, so a current spouse can collect spouse's benefits from their other spouse. You have to obviously be married. Some states have common law for divorces and stuff, but you have to be married for a current spouse. And probably it's probably the situation where one benefit is not twice the other. In order to get spouse benefits, current spouse, we're not talking about surviving spouse benefits, but spouse benefits, living spouse benefits. Your benefit amount, your full benefit amount has to be less than the other person's benefit amount. And a lot of people make this mistake. And this is, someone said the Social Security benefits are not being cut. Well, here's another place where they're being cut, because if you don't have the correct information, you're getting the incorrect information and therefore you're losing benefits. I would consider that a cut. And so would the people that are, not receiving those benefits. And it's basically people don't check the right thing. When you're looking to see if you're entitled to spouse benefits from your current spouse or divorced spouse that you were married to for 10 years, you have to look at what's called the PIA, the primary insurance amount. Do not look at the MBA, the monthly benefit amount. What's the difference? The PIA, the primary insurance amount, is the amount you would have received at full retirement age. The MBA is how much you're receiving. It might be, you filed early and therefore your benefit is reduced. You're getting Medicare taken out, you're getting taxes taken out, whatever the case may be. And you look at your check and you say, hey, this is this much. And you say, hey, Bob, Susan, husband and wife, how much are you receiving? Oh, I'm receiving this. My check says this. Oh, okay. Yours is not as twice as much as mine. So I guess I'm not entitled to benefits on yours. No, 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 no. Too many people are losing money because that's what they think. So please share, like, and subscribe so more people get this information. You have to look at the full benefit amount. Your full benefit amount if you had waited till full retirement age, and your spouse's full benefit amount if they had waited till their full retirement. Those are the numbers that Social Security goes by. And you're just like, well, I don't know that. Well, you go into My Social Security and check it out there. If it's a divorced spouse, then you just call Social Security. Again, good luck getting through, but you call Social Security and say, hey, I was married to this person for at least 10 years. I'm currently receiving benefits. Is there any money on their record? And if you don't know the Social Security number, no problem. Don't sweat it. Just tell them that person's name, the date of birth as well as you know it, and the city and state where they were born as well as you know it. I have never not been able to find a Social Security number with the minimal amount of information. Oh, John Smith and born sometime mid-60s and somewhere in North Texas. I was able to find the Social Security number and then check to see what the benefit amount is to see if they're entitled to any more benefits. So yes, don't waste those benefits. Don't throw those benefits away. Soma, I need to sign up for Social Security. I am 70.5. Ouch. I will guess I will be penalized for not doing it at 70. Yeah. Well, not penalized, but should I go down to the Social Security office to get an appointment? It really depends. Most offices, they've, first time since 1935, it's an appointment only system, but that was, last week before they made these massive cuts. No, all bets are off now, unfortunately. And I'll tell you what's going to happen is, you ever heard of Medicare Advantage? Where, you're replacing your original Medicare with a private plan and you have to go through that private company to get all your Medicare healthcare needs. We're going to see Social Security Advantage where, one of these tech bros is going to come in there and says, hey, we will, do all your computer stuff and get you AI all set up and stuff. And so when you go collect your benefits, when you go to file, you're going to be going through some private company rather than Social Security. And anyway, so 70.5, I would, if it depends on, your office, you can definitely try that, go down to your local office and demand and say, because under the policy right now that they just came out with a couple of 3 months ago, if it's a PR type thing, a public relations type thing, a congressional thing, so maybe call your congressperson before you go down there and say, hey, I'm going down there, please make sure I'm able to get in, or call the 800 number, schedule an appointment, call your local Social Security phone number if it's in the, Google in the book or something. And with you, since you're 70 and a half, 6 months, they should be able to go back 6 months and give you 6 months of back pay, so 6 months of retroactivity. So I don't think you lost anything. So, but Soma, you are correct in the sense of you stop receiving those delayed retirement credits, the 8% per year, the month you turn 70 years old. So nobody should file for benefits after 70 years old. The month you turn 70 is the very latest. That's when your benefits stop increasing because of, delaying retirement. But Soma, because of all the people that pressed like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff, you got into the channel and you got your question answered, and you will go down there immediately, because if you would have waited till you're 70 and 7 months, you would have lost that month. 70 and 80 months, you would have lost 8 months, you would have lost that month. But luckily you got here at 70 and a half. So 6 months, they can go back retroactivity. Ask them to give you 6 months of retroactivity. So yes, but you need to contact them this month immediately. All right. So y'all did an awesome job by getting this information to Soma there. So see, that was a benefit cut. She would have got her benefits cut. And Soma, I think you would agree, that would have been a benefit cut, unlike someone that said there's no benefit cuts. Can they actually stop our checks, even though it's our own money we paid into? Right now, they can mess things up. Yeah, they can certainly mess things up and, put in the wrong code or, train. I'm going to do a short little video about a terrible situation that happened in another country with 50 million social security records, but I'm going to do another video on that later. But if they don't mess anything up and, these kids in DOGE that are in charge of all the computers, I guess now, if they don't do anything dumb, then no. Will our checks automatically be cut in the future? Yes. When the trust fund runs out and that savings that we're using to fill the gap is no longer there, and we don't do anything to change it, then yes, it will stop in the future. Well, again, it will be cut in the future. So, FYI, New York Times reported DOGE was using receipts claiming ending contracts that were already canceled by Bush and Biden. Unbelievable links they would go to. Yeah. Some of the 1099 thing, they said, yeah, we're making available 1099 so you can get it online. That's been in the works they are, and they canceled a contract that the company that Social Security has been working with for decades to update the system and keep the My Social Security protected and all that kind of stuff. They canceled that contract. So I think they're going to swoop in and says, hey, we can do it. When my dad doesn't get his Social Security checked and his VA office closes, he is SOL. Yeah. I can't help him. I voted. So I know I might get some kickback for this one. So if I disappear from YouTube one day, you'll know what's going on. I would suggest, since DOGE, aka our politicians, are deciding to block us from our benefits by closing offices and firing people and retiring people, then the new Social Security office, your local politicians, you file for benefits and you call your politician and say, hey, I just filed for benefits. What's the status? I'm waiting on my disability claim. What's the status? Sure, if everybody did that. So it was nice knowing you all on YouTube here. So hopefully that doesn't happen. All right. Torque off a lot of old Marine Corps sergeant. I like torquing people off. Janine, I followed your guidance. I talked to the Social Security and I will get my spouse benefit, leaving mine to continue growing. I will send my marriage certificate to them. The representative was great. Awesome. I love to hear that, as I talk about several times, there's a lot of district managers throughout the country that have employees that they would really like to fire. I had, employees that I really like to fire, and I was able to fire all of them. They were just terrible employees. You never know. But now with, there's a hiring freeze, so you can't hire a new employee. So you hire you fire the one or two bad employees and you can't replace them. So you lose that work and everybody suffers and you suffer and stuff. So yeah, it's, obviously if they're super, super bad, you just, let them go. Or if they do something, look in somebody's record that they're not supposed to, then, that's a slam dunk. But great. Yeah. So probably it sounds like this is a surviving spouse benefit, because the only way you can continue to let yours grow is if you're filing for survivor benefits. If you're filing for spouse benefits and your spouse, your deceased, or excuse me, your previous spouse is still out there alive and kicking, then you have to file for benefits on your own record, and then spouse benefits, divorce spouse benefits. But for a surviving spouse benefits, you do not. And there's Janine, same type of situation. She was just about to get a cut in benefits. So thank you all for reaching out to Janine. And we made some more money there for people. Great. Shirley became a silver member. Nancy became a silver member. Bruce, Skylar, Mike, you guys are awesome supporting the channel. This is a two-man operation. Me and my son, he's working behind the scenes, making sure I don't embarrass myself in terms of all the technical stuff. Well, he's doing a terrible job because I embarrass myself all the time, but that's not because I didn't listen, it's because I didn't listen to him a lot of times. But anyway, thank you so much. Full retirement age is 68. I'm 65 now, was married 10 plus years, now divorced and not remarried. Can I apply for divorced spouse and to hold my Social Security until he is full retirement age? No, again, so sounds like I just answered your question. If it's if that person is still out there alive and kicking, you have to file for benefits on your own record. So And can I apply until he is 69 and receiving Social Security. Okay, that's what I was looking for. So he's receiving Social Security benefits. So you're just going to file for benefits on your own record, and then you'll file for benefits on his record. Remember, because you're 65, you're going to be reduced because you're filing early. Your benefits on your own record will be reduced, and your benefits on the spouse benefits will be reduced. You can, wait until full retirement age and get the full one, but then again, you're going to be missing all these checks between now and then. And remember, you're 65, so you might need Medicare unless you have health insurance from current work, not a retirement plan or the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it. Not COBRA. It has to be through current work, and your employer has to have 20 or more employees. And that's one of our sponsors there is Chapter Medicare. They help people with Medicare, Medicare supplements. Always check out Medicare supplements first. Ask about Plan N and G and all that. And if it's not for you, usually it's a budget issue, then check out Medicare Advantage. It's far, far better than having Medicare alone, Part A and Part B alone. Chapter Medicare sponsors all our videos here. So they're doing an awesome job helping people out. This is also the open enrollment period. So if you have a Medicare Advantage plan and you chose the wrong one, or you figured yours is no longer working for you, you can switch until the end of this month, until March 31st. January, February, March, you can switch Medicare Advantage plans one time to another plan. So reach out to them and they can see if there's a better one in your area. Or you can go back to original Medicare and get a Medicare supplement. But in most states, you'll probably have to go through health underwriting, which if you're healthy, it's super, super easy. A historical type question. I love these. No longer a credible Social Security trust fund. LBJ started the government borrowing from Social Security. Has been a slush fund for years. It's easy to find if you look. When Trump tried to enroll. Okay. Yeah. Again, it's so you're of the party that money is fake. So please donate that money to your local animal shelter, homeless shelter, whatever the case may be. So. All right, let's see. Do I have a good chance to get approved for disability at 65 and 2 months for back pain due to a lumbar radiculopathy or arthritis on both knees plus other medical problems? I say always apply. If your disability, that's how Social Security defines disability, as it's inability to work because of your disability, and your disability is going to last 12 months or longer or end in death, then that is what Social Security uses to define disability. So if whatever you have prevents you from working substantially, apply for it. And unfortunately now, hiring freeze, they're letting people go. Last week, when I was taking disability claims, I've taken hundreds of thousands of disability claims when I worked at Social Security. And everybody at that time used to say, you'll get your answer in average about 3 to 6 months. Up to last week, we were saying 6 to 9 months. They were saying 6 to 9 months. Now, but Maria, one thing you can do, it's called a rib dib. So you want to go ahead and file for disability. If you're not receiving retirement now, you can actually file for both at the same time. So you file for retirement benefits and disability at the same time. And that way you start getting your retirement benefits coming in while you're waiting forever to get your disability claim approved. And that is a strategy that some people use. Again, a rib, a dib. You won't get both. So if you get approved for disability, your disability benefits are going to be higher because, if you file for retirement, it's reduced because of your, not waiting until your full retirement age. So I did 3 or 4 videos that explain the entire process of filing for disability and some of the tips, tricks, and secrets. And I just did a video about 3 or 4 days ago on, how to make sure you protect your disability benefits in this new climate, because that is one thing they're going to come after if they're using, those words, fraud, waste, and abuse. And of course, Social Security has fraud, waste, and abuse. But they're using it as a kind of a big sledgehammer to, just cease benefits, across the board, rather than just going in there with a scalpel and say, okay, this is fraud. This is fraud. They're just kind of a shotgun approach. People on here need to get therapy. I think we all need that. Sorry, I got on here. Keep believing this administration has your best interests at heart. Okay. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. If Elon Musk, if he says, okay, it's not a, and he said, so I like that. He says, yeah, sometimes I'm wrong. He hasn't come out and said he's wrong about all those dead people receiving, Social Security benefits, which he should, because everybody else has come out. So he needs to own up to the fact that, okay, I read the files wrong. And he says, okay, technically it's not a Ponzi scheme. I just don't like it. Okay, fine. You don't like it. You don't want to pay it like the rest of us. Okay, then, yeah, I think everybody can redeem themselves. And if he wants to make the system more efficient, oh yeah, there's plenty of places you can make the system more efficient. Social Security has been begging Congress for decades. We need resources to update our Social Security system, our computer system. And Congress has essentially said for decades, here's a few pennies, and Social Security has, put lipstick on the pig, but they've never fixed it because Congress refuses to provide resources to get it fixed. And so if this is a crisis situation that the result is that some computer system gets fixed, I think that could be a good thing. It has to be done right. Well, it's not being done right now because if that is the ulterior motive of all this, then they're doing it backwards. I was going to say something different as ex-Marine Corps sergeant, but anyway, you know what I mean. Because you fix the computer system and you get all those efficiencies, and then you can start firing people and laying people off or whatever the case may be, because you don't need them anymore. You don't do it the opposite way. You don't get rid of a whole bunch of staff and then you say, oh, okay, I guess now we'll start working on the computer system, because while they're waiting on the computer system for months and months and months and months to get up to speed, people are going to be losing benefits. And they've gone. Wow. Anyway, I'm going on day 60 of waiting for survivor benefits. All my paperwork is in and I understand what the agents are going through, but my claim is cut and dry. Any idea how much longer? Yeah, it's, your case might be on the desk of someone that got their pink slip from DOGE and Elon Musk. So the other people in the office are trying to, go through their own workload, and then every now and then going over to that desk and grabbing a file off of, it's not really a file, but anyway, it's through the computer system, an old archaic computer system, but a computer system nonetheless. So your solution is to call the head Social Security office, your representative, and say, hey, I've been waiting on survivor benefits. Most of them have, I think pretty much every, congressperson, senator has on their website, it says, I need help with a federal agency, a little button there. You press that and say, hey, I need help with a federal agency. I filed 60 days ago, waiting for survivor benefits. I need that money. What's going on with my money? So if enough of us complain, then yeah. I love you, and I thank you for oh, thank you very much. And my wife is here today. Let's see. President Trump has expressly exempted Social Security and Medicare payments from being cut. Go read the orders yourself. So why are they being blocked? Why are people getting blocked from getting their benefits? That it doesn't come out in the wash. Musk called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. Not at all. It's our money, not anything else. Yes. Yeah. And it's our money. It's not his money, because he really doesn't pay into Social Security. And people will say, well, his employees pay Social Security, and because he is the employer, he pays the employer part of the Social Security. If that's what you think, then you also believe Elon Musk is the worst business person in the world, because every business person owner, when they go to give their employees, their wages or salary or stuff like that, they figure that stuff in. They say, okay, we'll give you, how much should we give you hourly or monthly or whatever the case may be? But we also have to pay workers' comp. We also have to pay health insurance. We also have to pay our part of Social Security and Medicare. So we've got all that in the back of the mind. And so this is how much we're going to pay. So you pay for both sides, 6.2 and 6.2. So you're paying for it on both sides because they take it out of your wages or salary or whatever the case may be. Elon Musk, pays Social Security maybe 2 seconds every year. We pay it 365 days of the year. So, Goldfish Games, what's up? I can claim now at 65 or wait. Any insight of people who are already claiming versus people who could have but haven't will be treated differently? Worried anyone isn't receiving benefits rejected. Um, Again, if you're able to get in, and people will comment, and they said, "I just file online. It's easy. What's Ed making this big, hubbub about?" Yeah, if your case is a simple retirement case, and your earnings are everything is good, if you find a gap in your earnings or unexplained, earnings back in 1982, and you need help with that, then guess what? You're not going to have a good time. And if you're filing for spouse benefits and you need to provide your divorce decree or marriage certificate, if you are filing for surviving spouse benefits, you can't do that online. So please, let's think about other people other than, you had an easy case, because a lot of people don't. And homeless people, obviously, the elderly, not that computer savvy. I'm the full, testament to that. But in terms of when to file, that's a question I get quite often, and it really depends on you. Should you start at 62, 65, 67, 70? Number one question, do you need the money? You need the money. That's slam dunk. You don't go any further. Get your money. Are you working? Obviously, when you work and you're filing for early retirement, you're limited to the amount of money you can make. This year it's the $23,400. Anything over that, they hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. The year you turn your full retirement age is 3 times more than that you can work. Once you hit your full retirement age, work has no negative effect on your Social Security at all. Is your children waiting for you to file so they can receive benefits? Under 18 or under the age of 22 and became disabled before the age of 22. Do you have a spouse waiting for benefits for you to start your benefits? How's your health? How's your genes, longevity? Will you pay more taxes if you collect Social Security? So that might be a good, calculation. Can you get your benefits now and invest better than Social Security? And the thing that I've added, which I never really talked about before, was the politics of the whole thing, because it's not about who's president right now. If the other person won, Harris won, I would be talking about it right now anyway, because we have been kicking the can down the road for too long, and we should have solved this problem decades ago, but now we've run out of road. And whether it was, President Harris or President Trump, it doesn't matter. Politicians from all parties have failed us, and now we're at this crossroads where we need to do something. And so let's see. If a person is getting Social Security disability insurance, are they entitled to the WEP? That's been a hot topic lately. Yes, same type of situation. The WEP PIA is basically your primary insurance amount is readjusted based on the windfall elimination provision. If you worked for a non-covered entity, that means you were, worked for the government, city, local, state government, or, federal government before the 1980s. And then your benefit was reduced because of that windfall elimination provision, they will now be unreduced. So, Mr. Weir, you're not misleading people. MAGA supporters should be watching your vlog. You never said that Social Security will be cut by Musk, the president. Keep up the good job. Yeah, as of right now, they're being blocked from getting those benefits, but they are there. So as of right now. But he is talking about raising the retirement age. And when you raise the retirement age, that's a 6.5% cut. So the people that are retiring this year, essentially they're getting a 13% cut in their benefits across the board, because they had to wait 2 more years to collect their benefits. Everybody, long time ago, you could collect at 65. So the people that are 1960 and after, you have to wait 2 more years to get your benefits. So you've lost 2 years of benefits. So that's a cut. Every time they raise the retirement age by 1 year, it's a 6.5% cut in benefits. So that is what Elon Musk is talking about, is raising the retirement age. President Trump said he's not going to raise the retirement age by 1 day. So we'll see how that happens. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the like buttons. And thank you. Yes, please. You're awesome. Appreciate it. Hi, husband is thinking of retire at 62 and a half. He is planning to continue working. is the $1 for $2 made withholding calculated based on income before or after pre-tax deduction health? It's your gross income. So before. So, and remember, here's another thing that people lose money on is because they file at the wrong time because they don't understand the difference between the annual earnings limit and the monthly earnings limit. So we're talking about early retirement. If let's say you're going to start your benefits in July and you're 62, 63, 64, and you made $1 billion, always exaggerate for effect. You made $1 billion from January till June. And you're like, oh, I guess I can't collect benefits in July because I've already made over the $23,400. No, you can collect benefits in July as long as starting in July, you stay under the monthly earnings limit. And what's the monthly earnings limit this year? $1,950. If you stay under $1,950 starting July and for the rest of the year, you can collect Social Security benefits and continue to make under $1,950. Social Security does not look at what you made before you started receiving benefits. So they don't look at that $1 billion. Next year, you have to stay under the annual earnings limit. You can't do the $1 billion and then, all that. So, so there's a lot of people that are missing money. They say, well, I guess I can't file now. I'll wait till next year. And because, they could ask that question to Social Security. And now Social Security can't, can't pick up the phone because they don't have any. Yeah. So, this man on here is telling the truth. Everyone needs to hear. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Again, I'm just pushing these numbers at random here. No, giving back to Elaine and how you feel. I'm going to stay what I say. Okay. So someone's talking to each other here. So sorry about that. Why does Medicare still charge 10% late fees every month? You'd think 1 month late would be enough, but no, it ain't right. I was covered in California at the time. Yeah. Okay. So if you don't sign up for Part B when you're supposed to, yes, they will charge you a penalty for the rest of your life, 10% for every 12 months you did not have health insurance. And why? Is because, Social Security, Medicare is a pooled risk. Well, Social Security is a pooled risk, but Medicare is a pooled risk. It's, just like everything else, car insurance and everything. If you only signed up for car insurance the day you had an accident, then that company would be broke, the next day. So if you only signed up for Medicare once you started getting sick, then Medicare would be broke. So that's why you're mandated. You have to sign up at 65, unless, of course, you have health insurance from current work. And Covered California is the Affordable Care Act, marketplace insurance. It's not from current work. So, yeah, unfortunately, you had to sign up for Part B at 65. And because you didn't, you're going to get the 10% penalty forever. And the 10% of what? 10% of the $185. So the monthly Part B premium is $185. So you'll pay $185 plus 10% of that. And unfortunately, a penalty on Part D, the prescription drug plan. That's 1% every month you don't sign up when you're supposed to. So if you have health insurance from work, and at 65, yours or your spouse's, the spouse, the employer has 20 or more, people in that group health plan, then you don't have to sign up for Part B. 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, when you stop receiving health insurance from current work, then you sign up for Part B and there's no penalties at all. You just have to fill out a couple of forms. One of those forms you take down to your employer. Your employer fills it out and says, yes, they've had health insurance since they turned 65. Don't penalize them. So no penalty whatsoever. So let's see. Is it true that what age you apply for Social Security before for retirement age of 67, the percentage of reduction is the same? Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much the same of early benefits. It's reduced. And people think, well, I'll apply at my birthday or the first of the year or something like that because the reduction is a little bit different. No, it doesn't really matter. It's every month you file for benefits early, for retirement benefits, for spouse benefits, for surviving spouse benefits, the benefits are reduced a little bit every month. Spouse benefits are a little bit different. Surviving spouse benefits calculation is a little bit different. But anyway, every month you file early, your benefits are reduced. Um, but there's ways to increase that. I haven't talked about this for a while. It's called voluntary delayed retirement credits. There's a few ways you can stop your benefits. Um, the one way you can stop your retirement benefits, is if you file and then within 12 months you change your mind, you can withdraw your application. So you can call up Social Security, file a 561. It just basically say, I want to withdraw my application. And like it never happened. And because it technically never happened, you do have to pay back all that money that you got, and you have to do it within 12 months. Another way you can stop your benefits is suspend your benefits. So if you are receiving Social Security benefits and after a year, 2 years, or 3 years, you find a job making over the annual earnings limit, you just call Social Security and say, hey, I'm going to make, $100,000 this year. And they will, $1 for every $2 you go over, they will stop those benefits. And this is what's the nightmare that's going to happen going forward, is because people do that all the time. If they're receiving disability, they, notify of, this part-time job they have, and they might go over the trial work period and they might do this, and surviving spouse benefits. And because Social Security there's nobody there at Social Security anymore to essentially answer the phones, those people are going to lose benefits. They're going to get overpayments. They're going to underpayments. And, then the politicians are going to come back next year and say, wow, Social Security is really messing stuff up. All these overpayments and underpayments, they were really messing up. So we definitely need to give it back, give all the money to Wall Street. So that's the intent. All right. The third way. So withdraw your application within 12 months, do a work report, and they will suspend your benefits, $1 for every $2 you go over, or voluntary delayed retirement credits. So voluntary delayed retirement credits is when you're receiving benefits and you're approaching your full retirement age. You contact Social Security and you say, I want to stop my benefits because I want to get those voluntary delayed retirement credits, the 8% per year. And so they suspend your benefits. You don't get a check. And then every year you get 8%. And so, at 68, you call them up and they restart your benefits, and they restart it plus 8%. You wait till 70, they restart it at 24%. So there's some strategies out there that if you can get access to the system, you might able to use. I can't find where Musk said these things. Where is it? Yeah, just go to YouTube and click Elon Musk Ponzi scheme, and it'll pop up all over the place. So. He was on Joe Rogan when he said that. I am receiving widow's benefits since I retired it. So Joe Rogan wants me to come on and explain what a Ponzi scheme is. Be more than happy. I'll bring my dictionary too. I am receiving widow's benefits since I retired at 62. I have been waiting until April 2026 to get my Social Security to grow and run in 70. If I can get an appointment, can Social Security set my full benefits to active 426? You can't do that now because it's too early. If you want your benefits to start April of 2026, it's way, way, way too early. So call them up if they're still in business. But again, if Social Security will be around here forever unless we do something stupid, But anyway, 3 months before. So call them up 3 months before. So let's see here. These programs are the greatest benefits working people ever had. Yeah, Social Security is the most successful anti-poverty program in American history. Study the Great Depression. But Trump has had his eyes on Social Security funds since 2017. It's all politicians and Wall Street and everybody. I have the playbook. Go into my description and my YouTube channel, and it has the playbook that was written in the 1980s on exactly the strategy, because they tried, during the Bush administration, they tried to, privatize, give the money over to Wall Street, give Social Security over to Wall Street, just kind of right in our face. And we said, no, bad boy, go back. So they've come up with a more ingenious strategy, is to attack Social Security, start all these internet myths, don't fund it, don't support it, and let it just, crumble from within, like, I guess, what we did with the Soviet Union. And so they're being very, very successful. And I've got that in my YouTube description, the playbook there. Trump, Clinton, Obama, both political parties one side said they want to privatize Social Security, the other side said they don't, but they were too incompetent or didn't get the job done. And so I say it's both that failed us. So he sat in the Rose Garden then saying he would walk over and end it. Yeah. So we've been kicking this can down the road for decades. LT, I retired from the post office under the old retirement and the SSI. SSI is the welfare-based program. You mean SSA. So told me when my wife dies, I'm not allowed to get hers, which is higher than mine. Can someone explain this to me? Yes, that is true before President Biden signed the Social Security Fairness Act, which is anyway, it was supported by President Trump and both sides of the political spectrum. But anyway, so yes, that was the fact a couple of months ago, but it's no longer the fact. So here's someone else that has some money that they could possibly get, but they don't know, and that's a cut. But now LT, all of that has changed. So call up Social Security, and it sounds when my wife. Okay, don't call Social Security because your wife is going to live another 100 years. So sorry, you're out of money. But if something happens to her, yes, it sounds as though you can get surviving spouse benefits. And what the old system, the GPO, the government pension offset, your non-covered pension from the old CSRS, the Civil Service Retirement System from the post office, would have offset that. But the Social Security Fairness Act changed that. So if anything should happen to your wife, which it won't for the next 100 years, look into it at that time. So, and I am 66 years old, been receiving SSDI. When I reach my full retirement age is when it changes to Social Security retirement, or will I have to call it in? Nope, you don't have to do anything. It's automatic. So when you're receiving Social Security disability insurance and you reach your full retirement age, it automatically switches from disability benefits to just regular old Social Security benefits. So as I always tell people on disability, there's a few times in your life you need to do things. If you're on Social Security disability at 60, see if you're entitled to surviving spouse benefits. At 62, see if you're entitled to need spouse or divorced spouse benefits. At 65, see if you want to switch from a Medicare Advantage to a Medicare Supplement plan. Contact my partners there. And at your full retirement age, you're free. You're no longer in disability. You no longer have continuing disability reviews. You're no longer limited in terms of your work. You don't have to report your work, anything like that. So more power to you. All right. Let's go with, we are out of time. I'm over an hour. I like to keep these down to an hour. Oh, no, became a platinum member. Thank you very much for the support. You guys are awesome. Let's make this the last one. Catherine, what's up, Catherine? I'm receiving SSDI and widow's benefits. My SSDI is $1,500. My widow's is $335. How do I know if I qualify for more or increase? It sounds like you're ahead of the game. Good job, Catherine. A lot of people miss this one because they think because they're on disability, they can't collect spouse benefits or surviving spouse benefits, as I just mentioned, but they can. Catherine is. And people say, well, if they can get that extra money, of course they're going to get that extra money. No, there's a lot of people out there that don't want to get the extra money, the extra $335 a month, because they think, well, then I will be on survivor benefits and I won't be on disability anymore. And because I'm 62, I'll lose my Medicare. No, you will still be on disability. You'll get that amount, and then you'll get the difference for the survivor, the spouse, or the divorced spouse. But because you're still on disability, your Medicare will continue. So yeah, a lot of people make that mistake, and they're losing a lot of money. Too many people are losing money out there. So please, let's do something here. Became another silver member. You guys, thank you. All right, I'm over an hour, and I appreciate it. Please take care of yourself and take care of those around you. Have a great night.